राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय राधा पथ सखी राधे जय जय गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शन जय सीता राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान सीता राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय श्री प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव हरि बोल 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 हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि हरि
हरि हरि बोल
जय जय श्री राधे श्याम We'll start with our opening prayers, page 1. All those who have the Bhagavad Gita, you may read by keeping your mics off, but read along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Tada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Devi Govind Swami Niti Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari. So welcome everyone. To our Bhagavad Gita class. We did till verse 2.21 last. We're talking about the soul. Discussion on the soul is going on. In fact, the discussion of the soul has started because of the 5 reasons given by Arjun not to fight. I'm sure you all remember the 5 reasons. 5 of you can tell me one reason each, so that it's a kind of a revision also, and a test of how much attention we have been paying. So any one reason why Arjun did not want to fight, and how Krishna is demolishing each reason systematically by giving sound logic. Any one reason? Yes, Neelam? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. You wear your headphones. Anjali?
Killing my seniors, my superiors, my gurus, and my elders.
So destruction of family
Yes.
is one of his reasons, that his family will be destroyed. So why should he fight? Yes, that's one. Second reason? Yes, Vinu?
वन संकर, लाइक लेडीज जो है वो दूषित हो जाएंगी तो आगे फ्यूचर वन शंकर रहेगा जो भी बोलते हैं ना,
Varana Sankar. So fear of sinful reaction. Yes, because when the ladies get polluted, then the entire future generation gets destroyed by sinful activities, and the perpetrator of this gets all the reaction. So he is fearful of sinful reaction. Destruction of family is another doubt. We've done 2. Yes, Neelam?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Meena. We are doing the 5 reasons of Arjun not to fight. Meena, you can tell us one. Which were the 5 reasons? One of the 5 reasons given by
Destruction of
Arjun.
family. Destruction of family traditions.
We have already done that, and fear of sinful reaction we've done. 2 are over, remaining 3.
Compassion.
Yes, Ishita.
Compassion.
Yes, that's good. Number 3 are over, compassion. Out of compassion, why should I kill them? Even though they have wronged me, but I don't want to kill them. Why should I? Okay, so compassion, 3 are gone. 2 more. Neelam?
He was indecisive और decision नहीं ले पा रहा था.
Very good. Indecision. Yes, he was indecisive. What should I do? He says in the end, he tells Krishna, what should I do? I'm thoroughly confused. And he puts his bow down. To fight or not to fight? Indecision. That's a very big reason. So we've done 4. Last one.
Weakness of the heart, na? Weakness of the heart.
So that can come in compassion. That he was very
compassion.
soft-hearted. He was very compassionate. Yes.
he want to enjoy the life, enjoy for his
Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Enjoyment. Even if I win the battle and I become the king of the universe and the earth, and I become the king of Hastinapur, if I don't have anybody to show it to, what fun? I mean, what is the use of this victory if I don't have my friends and relatives to show it to? So enjoyment. Yes. So compassion, enjoyment, fear of
Destruction
sinful
of
reaction,
family.
destruction of family, and indecision.
Indecision.
These should be on your tips. And how Krishna is now going to he's step by step logically explaining to him how all 5 of these reasons are wrong, even on the basis of Shastra. Even if you go by logic and by reasoning, how they are wrong. So we are going to see today one of them being demolished by Krishna. So 2.22. 2.22, Monica. Monica is here?
No, she is not here.
I don't think so.
Monica is not.
No,
Why?
she is
why-
not here.
Okay. She had confirmed that she's going to read 2.22. So, Sunita, would you like to read 2.22?
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah,
Shall I start?
sure.
वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि नवानि देहि.
Translation.
So translation, as a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So this verse 2.22 and 2.23 needs to be by hearted by all of us. These are important verses. So in the entire chapter 1, the first verse needs to be by hearted. So everybody can make a note of that and can start learning the shlokas. So that's the good news. Out of 48, you have to do only one in the first chapter. Second chapter, 2.22 and 23 are very important verses to 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20. These are also there. 7, 11, 12, 13, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. So
लर्निंग क्या बता रहे हो?
11, 12, 13, 14. And then 20, 22, and 23. These are very important verses. One should be reciting them. Okay, so
तो first तो याद हुआ है.
yeah, so we are going to one of the classes we'll do that. At least make a note now and start learning. And then one of the classes we will do this. Who has learnt how many verses, and then they can recite in the class. Okay. So remember one of you posted the video on how sound vibration creates patterns. So that is the power of reciting these verses. Just by chanting these verses, even if you do not understand their meaning, they are going to make deep impressions on your mind, on your subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And when the subtle body changes, automatically the soul changes, because the soul is attached to the subtle body. Although the soul is not a part, is not the subtle body, which we mistake, many of us are mistaken. So there are three aspects to the human beings, to a person. Remember, we did that slide, gross body, below the gross body is the subtle body, and below the subtle body is the soul. So there are two coverings over the soul. And chanting these verses directly attacks or purifies the subtle body, which is comprising of mind, intelligence, and false.
False ego.
Yeah. So vasamsi. Vasamsi means garment, clothes. Jeernani. Jeerna means worn out. Jeerna ho gaye hain, ye kapde jeern ho gaye, ye purane ho gaye, worn out. Vasamsi jeernani, old garments. Yatha vihaya. Vihaya means give up, given up. Just as we season में नए कपड़े खरीदते हैं, and then after a few years either we get bored of them or we just don't find them exciting anymore, and then we give them. Navani grihnani. Navami, again, just as the word implies, navami means new. Navani grihnani, new garments. Grihnani, accepting, as you accept the new garments. Naro parani. Naro, nar, uparani, and others, people and others. So just as old garments are given up and new garments are taken, tatha sharirani vihaya jirna. Vihaya means giving up. Jirna, again, old and useless. So just as Sharirani, the bodies are given up, the old and useless bodies are given up. Anyani samyati. Samyati means verily accepting, immediately accepting. Navani dehi. Again, the word navani comes. Navani again, new sets, dehi. Dehi nosmin yatha dehi. What is the meaning of dehi? ही जिसने देह को धारण किया हुआ है वो है देही. He who has a body, who has been given a body, who has taken a body is a jiva, is a dehi. So this again and again and again, all these words, if you pay attention to them, they clarify and they drive home the point that you are not this body. You are a dehi. You have acquired this body. You have taken this body. Just as you go to the market and take new clothes, buy new clothes. We have bought this body. Have we bought this body? With what kind of money have we bought this body? How have we bought this body? All of us? Because all of us have a different body, right? Some are tall, some are short, some are beautiful, some are not. Some
past
are healthy.
Based
some
on
are
our
not.
karmas. Based on our karmas.
Yes,
Past
from our
karma.
karmic bank balance. One is our ICICI bank balance, and the other is our karmic bank balance, the permanent bank balance, in which every day we are depositing, every day. And we are withdrawing also, every day. So depending on how rich our bank balance is, we buy different kinds of bodies. So that is why we are the Dehi. Samyati Navani Dehi. So let's read the purport. It's a long purport. Change. Sunita, can you help me read the purport, please?
So change of body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of body which appear from childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in the previous verse, 2.13.
Yeah, so we will, like I told you, 2.13 is worth memorizing. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tatha dehantaram prapte dhirastatra na muhyati. Dehinosmin. What is being explained here? Just as there are 6 stages that every human, every soul goes through. Which are the 6 stages? Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram. Kaumaram means
Youth.
no. First you will start
Boyhood.
with boyhood. Yes, Kaumar. Youth is Pogand. Pogand Leela. Kaumar is a boy, a small boy. So just as the body goes through from childhood to boyhood, then from boyhood to youth,
To youth.
and then again from youth to old age.
Old
So the
age.
body is born, that is one stage. Then the body grows, that's the second stage. Then the body remains for some time,
Remains
that's
for
the
some
third
time.
stage. Then it produces offspring, that's the fourth stage. And then it dwindles, it starts degrading, dwindling, fifth stage, and finally it becomes
Death.
weak, it is given up. These are the 6 stages that every Dehi has to go through. Whoever has bought this body will have to go through these 6. So, this has already been explained in the previous verse. Yeah. So, Sunita, can you read further?
Yeah. So transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the super soul. The super soul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas, like the
Mundak Upanishad.
Mundaka Upanishad, as well as Sweshta Swatara.
Shweta
Shweta Swatara. Yeah.
Yes.
Upanishad compared the soul and the super soul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird, Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another or from one body to another. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do by voluntary surrender unto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Mundaka Upanishad and Shweta Swatara Upanishad confirm this. Should I read this verse?
Yes, please.
Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno
Yes.
nisaya sochati muhya manaha.
Mana.
Justam yada.
Justam yada pashyati anyam isam. Isham. Asya mahimanam iti vita sokaha. I wish it was in Hindi. That English, reading it in English is a bit.
Don't worry, you will get it with practice.
Yeah, so the next thing is, although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, the Lord, and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face towards his eternal friend Krishna and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of body reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation.
Okay. So, changing of bodies is inevitable. That's the crux of this verse. That if you are a Dehi, you will change your body. And what is the proof of that? You have already changed 4 of your bodies. You had the body of a child first, then you had the body of a youth. In my case, even that is gone. Now I have the next stage. Okay, and then the next 2 stages will also come. So, but the soul inside, we still have a memory of our childhood. So this means the soul did not age. The soul remembers everything, but the body changed. So just as we are changing 6 bodies in our this lifetime itself, similarly after death also, we will change our body and take another body just like we do with garments. We give away the old garments and we take new garments. So where is the need to lament? because it's like changing your car. Does anybody cry when he sells his old car and buys a new car? मिठाई बांटते हैं लोग. People are happy. जश्न मनाते हैं. You know that the old went away. Now we are getting a new one and we are going to start enjoying again from the beginning. So similarly, this is exactly what Krishna is trying to tell Arjun. Why are you lamenting for this body? Anyways, this body is changing and it's going to die. So, all, yeah, please mute. Sorry?
ये आपकी वहीं से अनीता जो कंस्ट्रक्शन
नहीं, somebody was saying something. I think आप ही कुछ बोल रहे. Okay. So, what he's trying to, what Krishna is telling Arjun is that even if you do not, if you kill your uncle, Bhishma, Drona, your teachers, your grandfathers, it is already given in the Shastra that giving up your body on the battlefield is a glorious death. And immediately you go to the heavenly planets. All Kshatriyas who die on the battlefield are relieved of all their sinful activities and they go to the higher planets. So you should not be lamenting on the death of your grandfather and teacher, because this is a dharam yudh and this is a battlefield, a righteous battlefield, and you are fighting for a higher purpose. So you are going to relieve Drona, Bhishma and all these people who are very dear to you of their karmic, sinful karmic backlog. And all of them are going to be promoted to the higher planets. So you should be fighting with full enthusiasm and confidence, because what you are doing is on the path of righteousness. So violence is actually used for peace, because when you are trying to put supposing there's a murder has been committed, what does the king do? The king punishes the murderer and gives him a life sentence. And why is that done? So that there can be peace in the kingdom. So it's a kind of a contradiction that for peace, violence has to be committed. The murderer has to be killed, but that's not wrong. Why? Because if that murderer is not killed for killing someone, he will have to pay a big price in his next life. He can't run away from this, the reaction of this karma that he's done. So, but if he gets punished in this life itself for whatever karma he has done, then his next life is going to get better. He will not have to suffer the karmic reaction or the reaction for what he did in this life. Hence, he should not lament. Either ways, it's going to benefit Bhishma and Drona and all his other family members. His killing them or their dying on the battlefield. So there's no cause for lamentation. You should be happy that they're going to get newer bodies and righteous bodies, and they're going to a better destination. So Arjun's reasoning of my family is once more defeated here. On how can I kill them on compassionate grounds is being completely rooted out by Krishna in this verse. And Mundak and Shvetashvatar Upanishads are two Upanishads that again and again confirm this fact. They have explained that we can understand how the super soul and the soul by way of two birds sitting on a tree. This example has been given in both these Upanishads, even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that imagine that on a tree there are two birds sitting. One is the Paramatma or Krishna, the Vishnu form of Krishna sitting on the tree, and the other is us, the Jiva. One bird is busy eating the fruits and berries of the tree and enjoying. So कहीं पे उसे खट्टे फल मिल रहे हैं, कहीं पे मीठे फल मिल रहे हैं. तो कभी वो एंजॉय कर रहा है, कभी दुखी हो रहा है, कभी उसे कांटे चुभ जाते हैं, कभी उसे गर्मी सर्दी लगती है, कभी वो खुश होता है. So But at the same time, the other bird is just sitting there as a witness. Sorry, I have a call from the temple. I'll have to. Just excuse me for a minute. Yeah. So just as this bird sitting on the tree is very busy eating the fruits and sometimes happy and sometimes sad, sometimes suffering, sometimes enjoying. Similarly, we, the human beings, are trying to enjoy the different pleasures of this life by indulging in various kinds of sense gratifications. And we keep getting, like the changing seasons, like summer and winter, we keep getting happiness and sadness in our life. But the moment this bird turns towards the other bird who is sitting on that tree like a witness and starts developing a relationship with that bird, immediately he gets freed from all lamentation. And that should be the goal of life, that we turn towards the other bird, the Paramatma, sitting in our soul, and understand that he is the master and we are the servant. And the moment we start developing that relationship with him and serving him like a servant, we get relieved from all the miseries of this material life, all the lamentations of this material life. Okay, so verse 23 is by YG.
Yeah.
Hai na? Yes, YG.
There.
Thank you, Sunita.
नैनं चिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो न शोषयन्ति मारुतः. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Should I read the purport as well?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All kinds of weapons, swords, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons, but formerly there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Fire weapons were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. The Mayavadi cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original supreme soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the supreme soul. Because they are atomic individual souls eternally, Sanatana, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy, and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of a fire although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so, according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So, even after being liberated from the illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna.
Yeah, that's an important statement, the last line. So, nainam, nain evam, ne, na evam, nainam. Na means never. Chindanti. Chindanti is cut into pieces. Shastrani, shastra. So neither can the soul be cut into pieces. Chintanti shastrani. Nainam, never. Dahati pavakaha. So pavakaha is fire. Dahati matlab dahakna. ना फायर इसको बर्न कर सकती है, ना शस्त्र इसको छिंदंती छेद सकते हैं, न च नैनम क्लेदयंती moistening. What is kledayanti? To wet, to make it wet, gila karna. Na and na cha enam kledayanti. Apaha. Apa means water. Neither can water drown it. It can never be drowned or suffocated. Na shoshyati marutaha. Marutaha is wind. And shoshyati means withering or drying. So neither can a tornado dry it or wither it, nor can water drown it or moisten it, nor can fire burn it, nor can any kind of weapon cut it into pieces. Can you imagine? These are the qualities of a soul. So Arjun has all kinds of weapons with him. Indra has given him his celestial chariot and he has all kinds of celestial weapons. But all of them cannot harm the soul inside Bhishma and the soul inside Drona. They cannot even come close to their soul, leave alone killing them. So Krishna is trying to tell him, what are you thinking? You are going to kill these people? Really? None of these weapons that you have right now can touch any of these people because they are all spirit souls. Only their bodies will get killed. And that is Veer Gati. Tabhi kehte the inko Veer Gati prapt hui. These people are going to get liberated by getting killed on the battlefield of a righteous war, on a dharam yudh. So all of them are going to get a better destination after this. So what are you lamenting about? So he's trying to tell Arjun that all these are your own self-centered ideas about not wanting to kill them. It has nothing to do with the benefit of the other person on the battlefield. Now, let's come to Mayavad philosophy, because there are about 800, 900, maybe even 1,000 translations of the Bhagavad Gita in the market today. There is no rule or no law in the world that who can translate the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody can. You and me also can pick up the Gita today and start giving our own interpretations and understandings of these verses. That's how so many novels are coming into the market now, no? With these new age authors. They write on Sita, Draupadi, analyzing Sita from my point of view, analyzing Draupadi from a modern woman's point of view, analyzing Gita, Bhagavad Gita. So these people are using the shloks or the verses of Bhagavad Gita and trying to analyze it or project their own understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. But we are here to read and understand the Bhagavad Gita as per Vyasadev's analysis, as per acharyas or spiritual people or devotional people who have led a life of devotion. What is their understanding of these verses? and as per the author himself. So it's interesting how the Mayavadis interpret this verse 2.23 of the Bhagavad Gita. The Mayavadis cannot explain this verse on how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance, because they consider that this world is full of illusion and nothing really exists. So if nothing really exists and everything is an illusion, how did the soul come about? And consequently, how did it get covered by Maya, by illusory energy, if it doesn't exist? And more so, if Arjun becomes liberated by this knowledge received from Krishna, because Krishna is slowly is giving him very important knowledge and information, and towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjun becomes completely shant, pacified. He's completely sthita dhira. He's no longer anxious, sad, worried, depressed. He becomes completely pacified. So, this means he becomes liberated from the problems or doubts of his mind, adhyatmic, his adhyatmic problems. So, he becomes liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna. But does that mean that he became one with Krishna? As soon as he becomes liberated by hearing the Bhagavad Gita, does he go and merge into the body of Krishna? Does he go and mix into the body of Krishna and then Krishna only starts fighting in the Kurukshetra war? Is that how it happened? No. So even after liberation, Arjun is separate, Krishna is separate. They continue to exist separately and independently. However, one is getting liberated because of the other, because he surrendered to the higher purpose, to the higher power, to the Supreme Personality, Lord Sri Krishna. And he served him. How? By following his instructions, by understanding from him, first putting his doubts to him and seeking answers from him, and then understanding it and accepting his explanations. So similarly, the living entities, even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate entity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjun. So this verse is important to understand that none of us actually have the power to kill or destroy anyone, nor can our soul itself be killed or destroyed by death. It is just on a journey, and along the journey, it keeps on taking new garments, discarding the old ones. Before getting this current body, we have discarded our previous body and taken up this body. There was previously some other body that we were in, जिसको हम फेंक कर आए हैं इस बॉडी में. Similarly, इस बॉडी को भी हम फेंक कर आगे किसी और बॉडी को लेने वाले हैं. So this body, the life of a jiva or a soul is a journey. It does not start and end with just this life itself. So that's what Krishna is trying to explain to Arjun. What are you lamenting about? There is a higher purpose to your life. You should be focusing on that. You're worried about your old clothes? What's going to happen to my old clothes? Who's going to wear them? Oh, it was designer stuff. I paid so much. I bought it in sale. Or I did get a discount on that. Do we ever do that? Do we lament about, what we bought 15, 20 years back? But sadly enough, we become so attached to this body that when it's time for the final exam, which we all are going to get, anytime, unannounced, इसलिए daily practice करनी है. What our teachers used to tell us, maths daily practice करो. कभी भी surprise test हो सकता है, isn't it? That's why children are gotten into this habit of studying regularly, studying every day, because the teacher can one fine day give you a test without announcing. So if you have prepared, you will not be in anxiety, isn't it? जो लोग regular study करते हैं, self study करते हैं, as students, do they ever worry about a surprise test? No, they're all prepared. That's exactly how devotees are. They are not worried when death will come. And if at all death comes, surprisingly, they do not get shaken by this final exam because they have used their entire life to prepare for that final exam. They are ready. Okay, there was a point I was going to make. Yeah, verse 24. Verse 24 also is by YG.
Achedyoham adayoyam akledososya evacha nitya sarvagatas achaloyam sanatanaha. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immobile, and eternally the same. All these qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same atom eternally without change. The theory of monoism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the personality of Godhead. The word sarvagata, all pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word sarvagata, living everywhere, becomes meaningless.
Yeah. So this verse is very important for this particular word that is mentioned here. Sarva gataha. Gataha means to travel, and sarva means everywhere. That which travels everywhere. This has a large implication because modern science has given us a lot of wrong conceptions that this verse is rejecting, completely rejecting. So let's understand the translation of the verse first. Achedyo aham adahyo. So the individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble. Adahya means unable to be burnt. And achedyam, ached, ched jisme na ho sake, which means unbreakable, break proof. Unbreakable, ayam, this soul, adahyam, unable to be burnt, that which cannot be burnt. Akledyah, insoluble, that जो घोल नहीं सकते जिसे grind करके. Ashoshya, cannot be dried up, that which cannot be dried. Ev, certainly. Nitya, everlasting. Sarvagataha, all pervading. We'll come to that. What is the meaning of this? Sthanuhu, unchangeable. And achalaha, achal. Chal means that which moves. Achal means immovable, that which cannot move. And sanatana. Sanatan means eternal. Now, 2.24, this verse has two very important points here. First of all, in Sanskrit, it is repetition is considered very improper in Sanskrit language. They do not consider it. It is next to bad Sanskrit or sinful Sanskrit. They do not repeat the same thing again. Yet, in this particular verse, Krishna has repeated exactly what he's saying in the previous verse. We just did all these things in 2.23. Nanam chindanti shastrani, that which cannot be burnt, which cannot be cut into pieces, which cannot be dried. And then he's repeating those things again here. So they are reiterating a principle that Krishna has already established. And Krishna is repeating it here again. Why is he doing that? Even though in Sanskrit they are very particular not to repeat, because he's trying to stress, he's trying to give a lot of emphasis on this point to remove our doubts once and for all, that please understand that the soul is sanatanaha, is eternal. You are not this body, you are this soul. You are not this garment for which you are lamenting, you're crying over your shirt. Since morning till evening, you're crying over my shirt, my shirt, my shirt has become spoiled. But you are not the shirt. So now he begins offering another argument to convince Arjun to take part in the battle. Verse 26, when we come to that, starts with the words atahacha, which means if, however. Now this indicates that Krishna is going to start discussing a new topic. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Krishna is thinking that I have so far explained these things from the viewpoint of Shastra, but now I'm going to explain these things from a worldly point of view. Because Shastric understanding you also have. It's not that you've not read the Vedas. Arjun is a Jnani. He has read all the Vedas. So he definitely knows the Shastra. But Krishna is now going to giving this example from a worldly point of view. That is why he gave the example of clothes, because we can understand this, we can relate it to our worldly life right now, the life that we are in, and relate to it and understand the concept that he's trying to explain. Now, what does he mean by sarvagataha? Sarvagataha means as a soul, you can go anywhere, which means that it's not that you are limited just to land. The soul exists in water also. A soul exists in fire also. Earlier, the scientists, 50, 100 years back, the scientists were saying that you can sterilize something in fire because no living organisms, no bacteria can exist, no living organism can exist in fire. So the moment you put anything in fire, it gets sterilized, which is not correct. It's not true, because if that was the case, then the sun planet would have been empty. And how is the sun planet being run or governed? Because there are living beings living on the sun planet who have fiery bodies that can live in fire. Similarly, scientists say that there is no life on other planets. How have they come to that conclusion? By saying, oh, there is no oxygen there. There is too much of nitrogen oxide there. There is no water there. So they are comparing it to themselves, that because I need these things on planet Earth to live, similarly on the moon planet, since these things don't exist, so no living being also exists. Again, that's false. Otherwise, if that was the case, then Krishna wouldn't have said sarva gataha, that a soul can travel anywhere on any planet. This means that living beings living on the planet moon have bodies that can live in that atmosphere where there is no oxygen, it is cold all the time, there is no sunshine. So their bodies are made suitable to live in that kind of an environment. Like scientists have now agreed that yes, there are living beings in fire also. It's just that those living entities have different characteristics. That is why they can exist in fire. So it is like saying that, and now scientists have discovered extremophiles. What are extremophils? They have found in the depths of the earth some very small microorganisms called extremophils they are surprised that they are living and existing in conditions in which they haven't seen any organism exist, where there is always poisonous gases like nitrogen monoxide existing, and there is no water, there is no food, there is no sunlight, yet these extremophils are existing. So this proves the fact that a soul can live in all kinds of climatic conditions. It's just that each soul has a body suitable to his planet. Since we are on this planet, we have a body suitable to be here. Similarly, there are living beings on Sun, Moon, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Neptune, Saturn, any place that you say, even in the depths of the earth, in Patal Lok, there are organisms, there are living beings living, but with bodies suitable to the atmosphere of that planet. That is the meaning of this word Sarvagataha. So we therefore as souls, we can travel to any of these planets according to our karmic bank balance. We can go and we can be sent to Patal Lok also. And we will get a body suitable to exist in that dark atmosphere where it is always stuffy and no sunlight and dark. So what he's trying to say is that if you say that no living beings do not live there or they don't exist, then the word Sarvagata becomes meaningless. Then there's no point reading the Bhagavad Gita. If you want to interpret its meaning and its words and its essence, you might as well write your own Bhagavad Gita and read that then. There's no point reading what Vyasdev is explaining or what Krishna told Arjuna. You will not get the benefit out of it. The practical benefit of happiness you will not get out of it if you try to interpret it in your own way. So intelligent people, intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the personality of Godhead. The atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is Brahma Jyoti. You may want to, as atomic souls, prefer to remain in the rays of the Supreme Person. But an intelligent person will not be happy just staying in those rays or staying in the Brahma Jyoti, but will want to enter into the spiritual planet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? With what purpose? To serve Him, to associate with Him. Okay? Verse 25. Vaishali.
Hare Krishna. पढ़ूं?
Yes, yes.
अव्यक्ता अयम अचिन्त्यः अयम अविकार्यो अयम उच्यते तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं नाशुचोतिं तुमर्हसि. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. As described previously, the magnitude of the soul is so small for our material calculation that he cannot be seen even by the most powerful microscope. Therefore, he is invisible. As far as the soul's existence is concerned, no one can establish his existence experimentally beyond the proof of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. We have to accept this truth because there is no other source of understanding the existence of the soul, although it is a fact by the perception. There are many things we have to accept solely on grounds of superior authority. No one can deny the existence of his father based upon the authority of his mother. There is no source of understanding the identity of the father except the authority of the mother. Similarly, there is no source of understanding the soul except by studying the Vedas. In other words, the soul is inconceivable by human experimental knowledge. The soul is consciousness and conscious. That also is the statement of the Vedas, and we have to accept that. Unlike the bodily changes, there is no change in the soul. As eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic in comparison to the infinite supreme soul. The supreme soul is infinite, and the atomic soul is infinitesimal. What is it?
Infinitesimal.
Infinitesimal. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to infinite soul or the supreme personality of Godhead. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in different ways just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. A repetition of something is necessary in order that we understand the matter thoroughly without error.
Okay, clear? So till verse 30,
Yeah.
Krishna is repeating the same things about the soul again and again so that this concept of soul gets clarified to Krishna once, to Arjun once and for all. Yeah. So it is said that the soul is again invisible, inconceivable, immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. So when Yamraj comes, Yamraj, of course, cannot touch the material body, the gross body. But, sorry, not Yamraj, Yamdoot aate hain, Yamraj to khud nahi aate. But when the Yamdoot come, they come to take the subtle body. So जब वो subtle body को gross body में से खींच रहे होते हैं, निकाल रहे होते हैं, when they are pulling out the subtle body from the gross body, the soul is also dragged along with the subtle body. Although the subtle body, the soul is not a part of the subtle body. It is separate from mind, intelligence, and false ego. But because it is so attached to the subtle body, to its false ego, that unwillingly it also comes. To understand this, I'll give you a practical example. Supposing we all watch TV. I mean, of course, all of you are, I'm sure everybody watches TV, Netflix, kuch bhi maan lo, we all watch. And supposing we are watching something that we are finding very interesting, extremely interesting. Supposing it's for the men, a game of cricket, last ball, last over, last ball, India-Pakistan match. Everybody is glued to the set, and everybody wants to know what's going to happen. And somebody comes into your room and starts taking your television away. And, is taking the television, television chal raha hai, it's on, and that match is going on, and he starts taking the television away. And you also get up and start walking with the television because you don't want to miss that ball. You don't want to know the result. So you're not bothered. कौन आ गया, कौन टीवी लेके जा रहा है, आप उसके पीछे पीछे चलना शुरू कर देते हो. Because you are so involved with what is going on inside on the television, that you completely are unaware of your bearings, and you start walking with it. This is what happens at the time of death. You can very easily cut yourself off from the subtle body, and then Yamdut cannot take you. But because we are so attached to our subtle body, my house, my children, my money, my bank balance, my this, my that when Yamdut is actually taking the subtle body out of the material body and going away, the soul also goes along with the subtle body. और रो रहा है, करा रहा है, रो रहा है, जाना नहीं है, फिर भी जा रहा है because of this attachment. And how do you go around this very difficult task? Simply by chanting the names of Vishnu. That is why in South India and all cultures, in all religions, so much of stress has always been laid on chanting the names, chanting the names, chanting the names, but primary names, bona fide names, not your own man-made names or new mantras or whatever it is. But chanting the names of Vishnu cuts that bond of attachment with the false relations that we have here, so that at the time of death, if your subtle body is being taken away, you can detach yourself from the subtle body and let the body, subtle and gross body, go, and you go to Golok Dham or to Vaikuntha. You are ready to detach yourself from that. Isn't that interesting? So that's why he's trying to explain to Arjun that please understand that you are not this body. And why? What is the practical application of that? Because you are so attached to this body, that is why you're attached to Bhishma. And that is why you're attached to Drone. और क्या रिलेशनशिप है आपका भीष्म और द्रोण से और बाकी ये जितने आपके सखा हैं बैटलफील्ड पे जिनको आप मारना नहीं चाह रहे हो, बॉडीली आपकी बॉडी रिलेशनशिप है उनके साथ. मेरे ग्रैंडफादर है, मेरे चाचा, मेरे फूफा, मेरा भाई, मेरे ये मेरे वो. These are the things that are troubling him, right? And he does not want to kill them. And what are these relationships related to your body? As souls, there is no relationship. As souls, they are all connected to Krishna. So that's why Krishna is reiterating this point again and again, that focus on your duty, focus on your the goal of life, focus on what's the right thing to do. Don't get distracted by family attachment. That does not mean you have to neglect your family. That means that you have to be involved and do your duty only as much as is required. But the rest of your energy, time, and effort has to go towards building a relationship and serving the supreme father, mother, child. We've done the 5 rasas. So Krishna is all 5 to us: our child, our parent, our bandhu, friend, sakha, our best friend, lover, husband, everything, and permanent, who's never going to ditch you at the time of death. And we are not putting in enough time and energy to build a relationship with him. And we are investing so much into the temporary. We are trying to make a painting on water. And as soon as the next wave comes, that painting is going to go away, and then we sit and cry. Isn't that childish? He's trying to explain to us, do not make a painting on water, because water itself is unstable. It is asthir. इसके ऊपर कोई पेंटिंग टिक नहीं पाएगी ज्यादा देर तक. Okay. It's already 5:15. Any questions? Any doubts?
Vanita, I have 2 general questions. I don't know whether it's related to this or not, but can I ask them?
Yeah, sure.
One is, so we are saying that the soul cannot be destroyed at all, right? But can God, can Paramatma destroy the soul?
No. What do you mean by
Does he
destroy?
have? I don't know. Does see? Just
No.
make it non-existent. Is
We
it even
are-
possible
we-
for a Paramatma?
No.
Can he do it? Does he want to do it? Would he want
No,
to
he
do
does
it?
not. No. We in the last, you only asked me, is it infinitesimal? You were the one, or was it Vaishali?
No,
God
no,
is
I
infinite.
think it was Vaishali.
Okay, God is
Right, we are
infinite.
infinitesimal.
And we are
Yeah.
infinitesimal, which means,
Right.
so your question is that if Krishna is the ocean, then we, all of us are a drop. All of us are one drop of that ocean.
Right.
So
Right.
that drop of ocean, that drop of water will have all the qualities that the ocean has. But the only difference is that the drop is infinitesimal and the ocean is infinite.
Infinite. Okay.
So the question is kind of irrelevant. If the drop of water goes and mixes also in the ocean, yet that particular
It'll be there.
particle will still remain in the water as an individual particle,
Okay.
always.
Okay.
So
Okay.
similarly, Lord Krishna has millions and millions and millions of living entities coming out of his body.
Entities.
They will always eternally remain Sanatana. He says in the previous verses that he told Arjun that never in the past did these kings not exist. Neither you nor these kings exist. They always existed. This Duryodhan, in this life is Duryodhan. Previous life he was something else. Before that he was something else.
Right.
But he was eternal. He is eternal. In future also he will continue to exist. But I remember all these past lives and I know the future lives. But you have forgotten them.
Right. Okay.
So these souls, all of us, we are coming again and again, sometimes as enemies of Krishna, sometimes as friends of Krishna. But we are always there and we will always be there because we are just a part of his body. So if he is eternal, so are we.
Okay. Thank you, Vanita. One more question.
Yeah.
See, is it possible once, see, so the ultimate goal is, as you said, to, let's say, reach Vaikuntha. So is it possible for the soul that reaches Vaikuntham to actually come back again?
That's how we are here. All of us were in Vaikuntha.
Okay.
We were all in
Okay.
the spiritual world initially. This world didn't exist.
Okay.
But 3/4 of the entities, living entities, innumerable living entities coming from Krishna's body, 3/4 of them are still there enjoying a loving relationship with him in the mood of service. But a quarter, 1/4 of the living entities rebelled. How? With the first slightest seed of enviousness that came into our hearts, that why is he the center of the universe? Why does everything revolve around him? Why can't I be the center of the universe? This envious thought or desire, even a spark of this thought or desire, the moment it takes birth, immediately Krishna had to make this artificial world of illusion and send us here. Okay, you want to enjoy independent of me? Okay, enjoy, but you will not be happy because you will be happy only with us together in the spiritual world. However, since you're insisting so much, okay, let me create a separate world for you, which will of course be temporary because such a world never doesn't exist. Only the spiritual world exists eternally. So I'll make a temporary planet and then I will also drug you with illusion. Because if you are in your senses, you will not enjoy it. You will miss the spiritual world all the time. So I'm going to give you the drug of Maya that will keep you asleep, and it will keep you under the feeling that I am the center of my life and everything revolves because of my efforts. And that's how we have come here. But at the same time, the pious souls, the Vaishnavas who are oceans of compassion, could not see the sufferings of these people out of ignorance, out of illusion. Hence, the Vedas were created so that this knowledge can be given and they can reform their desires and reform their heart and come back home, back to Godhead, from where they have fallen here. So these scriptures have been written to reform us, to give us the understanding. This is actually a prison house. Bhulok and Bhuvarlok is actually not a place of enjoyment, it's a prison house. And why are people sent to prisons? To reform them. It's not to condemn them or kill them, it's just to reform them. So the intelligent people will use their time on planet Earth to work on reforming themselves, reforming their hearts, their desires, so that they can permanently go back home, back to God. But the unfortunate ones will deride this knowledge and information and enjoy. They say, oh, kal kisne dekha hai, let's just enjoy. Baad ki baad mein dekhi jayegi. We have youth right now. We have everything going for us, and it's because of my efforts only that everything is happening. So let me just enjoy. And then they waste valuable youth and energy in that. Because once old age comes, it's very difficult to work. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, Vanita. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Meena.
जैसे अभी हम बात कर रहे थे कि हमें बैक टू गॉडहेड जाना है, तो हम जो ये प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं तो इसीलिए प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं कि हम वहां जाएंगे, है ना? क्या हम वापस फिर से आ सकते हैं?
So this question was asked to Prabhupada. You know, Prabhupada, it's written that in Golok Vrindavan it is so blissful that nobody ever comes back from there. Yet we came. So for this, Prabhupada said that, see, दूध का जला छाछ को भी फूक फूक के पीता है. So having committed this mistake once, the soul remembers, the jiva remembers what terrible turbulations and trials they had to go through. How many, कितनी योनियों में से 84 लाख योनियों की जो memory है, that will purify his heart's desires to such an extent that he will never make this mistake again. Somehow or the other, we have made this mistake and we have fallen down. But now after this, when we go back home, back to Godhead, we will never come back again. That is Srila Prabhupada's promise.
पर हम इसका मतलब हम कृष्ण के पास गोलोक में रहते हुए भी सुधरे हुए नहीं थे, बिगड़े हुए थे जो वापस आ गए?
हम सुधरे हुए थे, but at some point in time, enviousness came into our heart. That's why enviousness is so dangerous. Even love matra, this much of even a whiff of enviousness in our heart can make or break our spiritual existence. That's why chanting. गिर सकते हैं, yes, absolutely, गिर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल गिर सकते हैं, गिर सकते हैं. Enviousness की जगह यहीं पे है, और किसी planet पे, spiritual planet पे कहीं पे भी enviousness exist नहीं करती. Neither in Vaikunt, nowhere, only in the material world. मतलब we were all at one point in time, हम सब ब्रह्मा भी रहे होंगे. Who knows? सतलोक में होंगे, ब्रह्मलोक में भी होंगे, तपलोक में भी होंगे, लेकिन ये सब भी enviousness वाले ही planets हैं. Brahma also became envious of Krishna once. ब्रह्म विमोहन लीला की है ना, सुनिए, आपने पढ़ी होगी. That was, what was that? He was envious of Krishna, Brahma himself. So material planets बहुत सारे हैं, 14 planets हैं. You can go anywhere. जरूरी नहीं है यहीं आएंगे. पाताल से लेकर ब्रह्मलोक तक कहीं भी जा सकते हो. All the देवी देवता कौन बनते हैं? जिनमें बहुत ज्यादा propensity to enjoy होती है. That is why they are made the kings of planets, of heavenly planets. Because they have a strong desire to enjoy, separate from Krishna. They are, at the same time, they are devotees of Krishna. Devotees bhi hain. That's the only difference. Sur or Asur, mein kya difference hai? The Sur are obedient to Krishna's instructions. Asurs reject his instructions. I'm not going to follow. When Mohini appeared, she told the Rakshas, she gave some instructions, they rejected. She told the Devatas, आप सब चुपचाप लाइन में बैठ जाओ, आपको मिलेगा. वो they obeyed because they are favorable to Krishna. So they obeyed. Okay, we'll sit in the line. Asur said, नहीं, हमें नहीं बैठना. That's the only difference between Sur and Asur. So each one of us also have a Sur and Asur in our heart. Now it's up to us on whom to feed. The more you chant, you are feeding the Sur inside you, and the Asur will die. At one point in time, the Asur will be starved of oxygen and he will die. यही हमारी कोशिश है. ये जीवन हमें इसीलिए मिला हुआ है. To starve the Asur in us and to feed and nourish the Sur in us. And the rest, he will take care. Okay?
एक और क्वेश्चन.
हाँ जी.
हम कहते हैं ना हम गोलोक से आए हैं, लेकिन अगर हम वैसे, एक थ्योरी ये भी है कि हम कर्णोदक्षाय विष्णु से ब्रह्मांड आया, फिर गर्भदक्षाय विष्णु से हम आए, हमारी नेचर और हम जीव आए। तो हम कहाँ गोलोक से आए? हम तो गर्भदक्षाय विष्णु से आए और या कर्णोदक्षाय विष्णु से आए और शिरोदक्ष विष्णु हमारे अंदर आ गए। तो गोलोक कहाँ है? फिर हम तो
So-
इधर आए, हम तो यहाँ से आए। पृथ्वी तो ऐसे ही बनी है ना कि ये 3 विष्णु से बनी है पृथ्वी।
तो इनमें जब आप गोलोक से गिरते हो नीचे पृथ्वी में एंटर करने के लिए, यू हैव टू गो थ्रू द 3 विष्णुस. What is so difficult to understand in that? Supposing you are in the spiritual world, you are kicked out of there, and you have to enter another planet, and there are 3 doors to that planet. तो उस planet में enter करने के लिए तीनों दरवाजों में से ही आना पड़ेगा ना आपको. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप अपने घर से निकले मेरे घर आने के लिए, मेरे घर में आने के लिए यू विल हैव टू फर्स्ट क्रॉस द मेन सिक्योरिटी नीचे, then you will have to also cross another door of the lift, then you will have to cross the door of my house. ये 3 doors तो आपको क्रॉस करने ही पड़ेंगे to reach my house. So आप बोलेंगे जब मैं ये 3 दरवाजों में से आ रही हूँ तो फिर मैं अपने घर से कैसे आ रही हूँ? मैं तो इन 3 दरवाजों में से आ रही हूँ, एक आपके टावर का दरवाजा, एक लिफ्ट का दरवाजा और एक आपके घर का दरवाजा. मैं तो इन 3 दरवाजों में से आ रही हूँ ना, तो फिर मैं अपने घर से कैसे आ रही हूँ? That's your question. Is that clear? आप अपने घर से ही आ रही हैं, लेकिन मेरे घर तक आने के लिए you are crossing these 3 doors. So आप गोलोक से ही आ रही हैं, could be Vaikunt also, any of the spiritual planets. But to enter into the material world, you have to go through the body of Mahavishnu, Kshirodakshaya, Garbhodakshaya. That's the only way to enter into this world. Those are the entry gates. Okay? Yes, Neelam?
Yeah, I just have a few questions from verse 24. First of all, what is the theory of monism? Is that soul will merge within the Supreme Lord? The individual soul is never expected to become one.
Yes.
homogeneous.
Monism means oneness. Everything is one. Aham Brahmasmi. God and me are one. मैं ही कृष्ण हूँ, कृष्ण ही मैं हूँ. मैं कृष्ण में, कृष्ण मुझ में. This is monism. Mono. Monism comes from the word mono. One. All is one. Everything is one. Mixed हो गए. Shake की तरह. Somebody was asking me just now, no? कि वो सोल अगर मिक्स हो गया तो वो अलग रहा या एक ही रहा? मिक्स हो गए सब, एक शेक बना के पी लिया आपने. No, you will still remain individual. Even when we are in Krishna's body, we are still individual particles in his body. We never don't cease to exist. This is the point.
Yeah,
That is why monism is rejected. You can never merge in it. All of these particles together make his body. It's like saying that his body doesn't exist. It's a contradiction.
And one
Okay.
place you mentioned the word extenophils. What was that? I couldn't understand.
Extremophils, you can go online and check. These are new discoveries by scientists. That these are organisms that are able to survive in extreme conditions, extreme heat, extreme cold, all kinds of extreme conditions जिसमें life possible ही नहीं है according to science. वहां पे इन लोगों ने जी कर दिखाया है, वहां पे ये organisms मिले हैं इनको. So scientists are baffled because they used to think based on life on Earth, they were trying to project that life on other planets cannot exist. On Mars, Neptune, ये सब खाली हैं ये planets. मून पे तो हम हो आए, देख आए. ये वहां पे कोई exist ही नहीं कर सकता. But have they dug up the surface of moon? Have they traveled to the entire planet of moon? बहुत बड़ा है मून तो. पूरा मून ट्रैवल करके देखा है क्या? हो सकता है मून के डेप्थ्स में लोग रह रहे हो, नीचे कहीं रह रहे हो. It cannot be that the planets are empty. So
One more.
extremophils have recently been discovered. जिससे ये idea लग सकता है that a soul is sarvagatah. It travels everywhere and can live in all conditions.
And this statement, the belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated that, yeah, the soul cannot be burned by. But I couldn't understand this. They are sterilized in fire is not
So
acceptable.
the medical community until a few years back, this book has been written in the 70s by Prabhupada, the translation. At that time, even now also, सर्जरी में the doctors used to say that हमारे appliances, बाकी सब जगह बैक्टीरिया रहता है सर्जिकल appliances पे, लेकिन जैसे ही उसको आग में जला दो तो वो स्टेरलाइज हो जाता है, क्योंकि आग में कोई ऑर्गेनिज्म एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं कर सकता, इसलिए वो स्टेरलाइज हो जाएगा, which has been proved false. Now they have found कि आग में भी living entities हैं, होते हैं. There is no place where living entities cannot exist. Just because you can't exist in fire doesn't mean that other living entities cannot exist in fire. उसमें fiery living entities होते हैं, लेकिन होते हैं जरूर हैं.
Oh, so then our belief that हम ये sterilize करते हैं, वो sterilize करते हैं, कोई germs नहीं होगा, so that is wrong.
It's wrong है, सब जगह होते हैं. Sterilize होता होगा, लेकिन now they have found कि उससे भी नहीं होता completely, because fire में भी हैं living entities. So that actually is good because it is proving the Gita right. जब भी कोई scientific study गलत prove होती है, it is good news. This means Gita right prove हो रही है, because Gita को contradict करती है scientific studies हमेशा. है ना? There is no afterlife. There is no God. Life came from dead matter. Life is just, how did the living entities come? Just by a chemical combination. It didn't come by, all these are scientific ideas and views. That we can produce life. So many scientists claim we produced life. What did they do? जो existing life थी, उसको उस DNA को लेकर उसके साथ थोड़ा experiment किया, कुछ और बना दिया और बोल दिया we have created life artificially. इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? A.R. रहमान ने म्यूजिक बनाया, फिर एक रैपर आया, उसने उस A.R. रहमान के गाने को लिया, उसको रैप बना दिया, रैप फॉर्म में. You know rapping, no? रैप बना दिया and then he claims नया गाना बनाया. अरे गाना तो बना हुआ था ऑलरेडी, तुमने सिर्फ उसको चेंज किया. तुमने फ्रॉम स्क्रैच तो कुछ नहीं बनाया. Could you produce anything by your own? No. लिविंग चीज को ही उसके साथ छेड़खानी करके कोई नई चीज बना देते हैं और कहते हैं हमने नई लिविंग चीज बना दी आर्टिफिशियली. तो मिट्टी से बनाकर दिखाओ, नॉन लिविंग थिंग से बनाकर दिखाओ लिविंग थिंग, तब तो हम आपकी थियोरी माने दैट लिविंग बीइंग्स कम फ्रॉम जस्ट केमिकल कॉम्बिनेशन. तो केमिकल्स को कंबाइन कर लो लैब में, उसमें सोल डाल के दिखाओ, बिकॉज दे डोंट बिलीव इन द सोल. दे से देयर इज नो सच थिंग एज सोल. इट्स जस्ट chemicals. When they come in suitable temperature and environment, automatically वो बढ़ने शुरू हो जाते हैं. Gita says no, it's the soul that is making the body grow. It's the soul that gives consciousness to the body. And body में सारे chemical combinations ठीक भी हो, perfectly healthy भी हो, तब भी जैसे ही soul निकली body खत्म. So सोल के जाने के बाद वो बॉडी अगर हेल्दी भी है, उसमें सारे केमिकल्स भी होते हैं, फिर भी वो बॉडी काम पे नहीं करती. What happens? Because the soul is the driving force. Many scientists don't believe in that. Anything else?
Just one more thing. In verse 25, it's written the soul is consciousness and conscious. What does that mean? Consciousness and conscious?
It is, the soul is conscious, which means कि वो जिंदा है. The soul is alive.
Okay.
And it's also consciousness. That's the symptom of the soul. What is the symptom of the body? Consciousness. That is also because of soul. So soul जो है वो symptom भी है और वो जिंदा भी है. That is a unique identity also, and it is also a symptom. How is it a symptom? You can see the proof of the soul can be got from the body. When the body is moving, growing, whatever the activities the body is doing, it is because it has consciousness. So what is the consciousness? It is like, okay, to help you understand, heat and light. Soul is heat and light both. सूरज की किरणें हीट भी है, लाइट भी है. अब if you say हीट है या लाइट है, दोनों में से क्या है? दोनों है. सोल हीट भी है, लाइट भी है, दोनों है. Both are its properties. हीट कैसे है? Through the body you can see that it is moving. This means उसके अंदर सोल है. और लाइट कैसे है? It's an actual light itself. Without body also it exists, so it is light. Clear? Okay. So let's do the closing prayers. YG, would you like to say the closing prayers after me?
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay. Ekam Shastram,
Ekam Shastram,
Devaki Putra Geetam,
Devaki Putra Geetam,
Eko Devo,
Eko Devo,
Devaki Putra Eva,
Devaki Putra Eva,
Eko Mantras,
Eko Mantras,
Tasya Namani Yani,
Tasya Namani Yani,
Karmapi Ekam,
Karmapi Ekam,
Tasya Devasya Seva,
Tasya Devasya Seva,
Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva,
Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva,
Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva,
Tvameva Bandhuscha Saka Tvameva,
Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva,
Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva,
Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva,
Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva,
Krishnaya Vasudevaya,
Krishnaya Vasudevaya,
Haraye Paramatmane,
Haraye Paramatmane,
Pranata Kalesha Nashaya,
Pranatakalesh Nashaya,
Govindaya Namo Namaha,
Govindaya Namo Namaha,
Krishnaya Vasudevaya,
Krishnaya Vasudevaya,
Devaki Nandanaya Cha,
Devaki Nandanaya Cha,
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya,
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya,
Govindaya Namo Namaha,
Govindaya Namo Namaha,
Vasudevam Sutam Devam,
Vasudevam Sutam Devam,
Kamsa Chanura Mardanam,
Kamsa Chanura Mardanam,
Devaki Paramanandam,
Devaki Paramanandam,
Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum,
Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum,
Katyayani Mahamaye,
Katyayani Mahamaye,
Mahayogini Adhishwari,
Mahayogini Adhishwari,
Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi,
Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi,
Patim Me Kurute Namaha,
Patim Me Kurute Namaha,
Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Dasoham Krishna Tavasmi,
Dasoham Krishna Tavasmi,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai, Guru Maharaj ki
Jai.
Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari.
Okay, so Guru Maharaj has agreed to come. That's the good news. For Kartik is starting 1st November. We will do Damodar Aarti, Damodar Ashtakam. In all of us can keep ghee lamps ready on 1st November. Is actually a Sunday. Will it be convenient for all of you? Otherwise, apne ghar pe first day I'll keep in my house. And all of you can keep a ghee lamp ready in front of your respective altar in your house. And then we can invite Maharaj and he will do Kirtan or the Damodar Ashtakam and we can all offer lamps to our altar, our deities, and all of us can get the mercy of Maharaj.
Evening, na? Sunday evening.
Sunday evening suit karega na sabko?
Yeah.
है ना? 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
5 बजे रखें? मीना? So, yeah. ठीक है ना? So Sunday शाम को we'll keep it in my house. That's 1st November. Please get your ghee lamps for the entire month and offer a ghee lamp. पता है आपको? You all know that Kartik is the most second most. The most important is Purushottam, but that comes only once in 3 years. Kartik comes every year. And we have to offer a ghee lamp every evening to Tulsi Maharani and to Damodar and sing this Damodar Ashtakam because this particular Leela of Yashoda tying him happened on Diwali. So he loves to hear this Leela in Kartik Mass. And your spiritual progress gets fast forwarded by years just by observing this 1 month of Kartik Vrata. So परसों से शुरू हो रहा है, अभी से think of what vrat you want to take. Any one thing you may want to take that you're going to do for the whole month. It could be, some examples are rising up every day and taking a shower at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3:34. This is one vrat. Chanting more, a fixed number of rounds, and I'm going to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra these fixed number of times, all 30 days. Food, you can give up any one thing that is very, very dear to you in this month, just as an austerity. That Krishna, please help me overcome my inner faults. I will give up this whatever food item for you. Reading, fixed. Take one book that I'm going to read this particular book every day, starting from page 1. You fix something. You may. It's not that you have to read a lot, but you will read every day. Starting a Krishna book is very auspicious. It's very interestingly done because that's my experience. By end of the day also philosophy becomes heavy to read, but you will enjoy reading the Krishna book. So you can start reading one book in sequence. ये नहीं कि कुछ भी उठाया कभी भी कुछ भी पढ़ लिया. So reading, chanting, offering ghee lamp, reciting the Damodar Ashtakam every day, bathing early morning. These are some of the vrats that you can take in this month of Kartik. And
do we have to sing Damodar Ashtakam twice a day, in the morning, evening, or just evening?
Evening ही मैंने तो देखा है, but there's no harm in doing it every day. I mean twice a day.
And everywhere it is mentioned that since it is Sharad Purnima tomorrow, and tomorrow it is starting, we'll follow the Kartik Vrat from tomorrow. Even that visual परिक्रमा जो लोकनाथ स्वामी महाराज शुरू कर रहे हैं वो भी कल से है, and they are calculating from tomorrow. Everywhere it is mentioning.
Where have you read everywhere?
ये जो भी अपने इस्कॉन के ग्रुप्स हैं उनमें कल जो अपने परिक्रमा भी वो शुरू हो रहा है कार्तिक मंथ का. इट इज स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम टुमारो 31st.
चलो ठीक है.
शरद पूर्णिमा से.
Okay. Yeah, that's, if they're saying it, then that's right. I asked Aradhya Gaur Prabhu, उनको गलती लगी होगी. He told me 1st November, but that's okay. So we will meet. If tomorrow is the first day, then tomorrow is what? Friday.
Saturday.
Saturday. Today is Friday.
This Friday.
कुछ लोग कल कह रहे हैं, कुछ लोग परसों कह रहे हैं, थोड़ी सी कंफ्यूजन है डेट्स की ना।
As always, हाँ 2 हो रही है.